So what's up, Pablo? How you doing?
I'm good, Jake. I'm good. Can't thank you enough for the opportunity, the invitation. I know we've been planning it for a while, so I'm really, really happy that we got it set up. And well, I want to take this opportunity to talk to you and talk baseball and all kind of things.
This is amazing. It's so incredible to be doing this, to be talking some baseball with you. And huge thanks for being so nice to me back when we met in July in City Field. You're so nice, and you stayed in touch with me to be able to work this out. It means the world to me. So thank you so much.
Very welcome.
And hey, just looking at you for a second, you pitched quite the game yesterday, you know what I'm saying? Getting the win against the Rays. Pitched another gem with 9 strikeouts, almost 7 innings, gave up 3 hits. I saw that, I'm like, perfect. Coming into the podcast with a beautiful outing. How did that feel
Yeah.
yesterday?
Oh, it felt great. It felt great. Obviously, you look at the win for like the team, for myself, and we started that 4 game series winning the first game, then we dropped the next two. So as a starting pitcher, something in you makes it a little personal, like I have the opportunity to give the team, to split the series, to even the series out, to just change the momentum of the last 2 games. So, that there's always that element that you can find to like fire yourself up a little bit. So I showed up to the ballpark with a lot of determination, just, like for something bigger than myself. I need to be on the mound, convicted, determined in every single pitch to give my team the best opportunity to win a ball game. And yeah, like obviously I had a couple of mistakes here and there, but I was able to, realizing that okay, after those pitches, I'm still in this game. The team's still in this game. It's all about re-engaging, focusing again, and then executing and competing. So it was a good game. It was much needed for us to we knew we were coming into the series against the Royals, which is a very important series for us. So coming in with a win on the last game, not dropping the series, and then like I said, to change the momentum going into the biggest series of the season for us so far.
I was actually about to mention that series you guys are going into in the Royals. And I was gonna say how that was maybe the one bad part about you pitching yesterday. You don't get to pitch in this huge series against the division rivals and the Royals. You guys are like a half game up on them, and I'm sure you're hungry for a bigger lead. Like you guys also, in my opinion, you guys are so like you own them. Whenever you play them, you've won 7 out of 10 the games you played this year. So, Pablo, you feeling a series win? Smelling a sweep? What do you think?
Oh man, I'm looking forward to definitely a series win. We got Zeby Matthews, Bailey Ober, and Woods Richardson lined up for these 3 games. And yeah, obviously you look at Zeby and Woods Richardson, and they don't have a ton of experience in the big leagues, but they can pitch. They have all the talent, they have all the abilities, they have the desire to give the team an opportunity to prove the team, to prove themselves at this level they can compete, they can give quality innings, quality outings. So, I mean, it's going to be a big challenge for them, but I think they're excited for it. They're ready for it. And yeah, we've played the Royals really well this season, even last season, which was my first time in this division. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to a good series. We're going against Cole Reagan today. Their ace, unbelievable talent. So it's going to be challenging for the batters, but I'm sure, like on the pitching side of things, we're going to try to like make it as easy on the offense as possible. You always want to have quick innings. You always want to bring your boys back into the dugout to score runs and then just keep that good momentum going. So, yeah, biggest series of the season yet. And I mean, these are always fun. We know September baseball is always fun when you have teams making the playoff push. You have small leads here and there, then you go straight into a series against that team head to head. So it's gonna be fun. And yeah, like obviously because I pitched yesterday, I don't get to pitch in this series, but I mean I got the best seat in the house to see my guys do their thing.
Yeah, it's gonna feel like a playoff game for sure, 100%, the whole series. And we know how well you've pitched in the playoffs last year against my Jays. Beautiful. You pitched a gem, and then you went out, pitched against the Astros, maybe even better. It was crazy. Just I'm sure not just you, but the whole team is probably a little disappointed they're not gonna get to have you pitch against the Royals here. But hey, at least you guys got some of the best in the
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. No, we got. I mean, our entire rotation and pitching staff. Like we have we have guys that are capable to shut any lineup down. So that's always good to see. And I get to see the guys throw their bullpen sessions. I get to see them play catch. So when I get to see what they work on translate into success on the game mound, that's one of the coolest things when you see the development. When you see that they worked on something, they executed it, and it gave them good results on the mound. So yeah, and I know some of our young guys are, when you make your debut, when you make it to the big leagues, you're trying to navigate the league adjusting to you, you're adjusting yourself to everything, all the changes. But these guys took that challenge head on. They're not shying away. They are sticking to their strengths, to the things they know how to do, and it's competing. They know that we are relying on them, and they like the challenge. And I mean, that's what you want on a pitching staff. You want the pitchers that want the ball in those situations, in those spots. Every 5 games, we take the ball and we try to go out there and put on a good performance.
You mentioned how amazing your starting rotation is in your pitching staff. And alongside you, obviously, there's some amazing talent in Bailey Ober and this and that, so many. But I want to ask you specifically about Joe Ryan. What makes Joe Ryan so good? Because I know how much everyone loves him.
Well, he's an incredibly smart guy. Like when he's on the mound, he knows the areas, the locations, and the pitches he can get the batter out with. And he's got good talent to manipulate the baseball with two types of fastballs, two types of breaking balls, a splitter. He brought his game to a new level this year with higher velo that was maintaining from the first inning to the last inning all throughout the season. And he's got one of those unicorn kind of fastballs. The way he releases the ball from like a lower slot and the way the ball keeps going over the plate, what they call VAA, vertical angle approach. Like the ball just stays going, it just keeps going through the target, and that fastball just quickens up on everyone. So, and like in pitching, we talk a lot about everything works up the fastball, and that's Joe Ryan's game. He's gonna pepper fastballs in the zone. He challenges everybody. He refuses to give out free passes. He's challenging people with their best stuff, always in or around the zone, and he wants to be successful. He knows what he needs to do. He prepares. He Yeah, he's really smart. Sometimes he'll tell me a fact about a guy that only he would know. Like, oh, this guy, only his barrel percentage on this pitch has been 5% in the last 2.5 months. So like he's very like particular about the stats that he knows, and that's what he takes into the game.
I love that. I love when people are so in depth on that. That's amazing. So I want to focus on you for a moment, Pablo, because you're having a remarkable season. You've pitched over 160 innings now, 173 strikeouts, and you've gotten the win 14 times this year. And hey, this definitely isn't your first time putting up these type of numbers. You've had similar numbers for a couple years in a row now, and everyone knows just how hard it is to be this consistent for this long in the big leagues. Like, Pablo, tell me, what's your secret?
Well, when you look at performance and number and statistics, and you think, okay, this guy is very consistent with his numbers. This guy is very consistent every 5 days. But to reach that level of consistency on a performance basis on the field, there has to be a consistency every day. Like in my case, like I've developed a good routine that I'm very consistent with. More than a routine, it became a ritual. Like these are the things I need to do every single day to make sure that every 5 day when I get to take the ball, my body and my mind are in peak form to like go out there and give my team everything I have. So yeah, you talk about consistent results, but it's really being consistent with your routine, with your recovery, staying true to the process. Like once you find that process, you stick with it because that's the one thing you can control. Outcomes are they vary a lot. The moment the ball leaves your hand, anything can happen and it's out of your control. But you can control the things you tell yourself. You can control the amount of effort you put in your workouts, your recovery, your conditioning, your nutrition, your sleeping. So you gotta find a routine that works for you, and then you stick with it. And it's a long season, so when you have that routine that keeps you going, it kind of keeps you sane, like because there's so much that could be frustrating in sports, but like when there's that one constant that you can execute every single day, then you're putting yourself in the best situation to be in the best spot to be successful.
Yeah, it's all about putting yourself in that best spot, putting it all there. So, who's the hardest batter for you to face? Is there one guy around the league that like you're like you see him step into the box, you're like, "Oh, come on, him again. I've been trying to get away from him."
I mean, they're all big leaguers, they're all good, but you mentioned how we met in New York and I pitched that series. And so I got to face Jeff McNeil again after facing him a lot with Miami. And I mean, that day I think he got two singles up of me. Like he seems to just put the ball in play and find holes, and he hits it to the right spot. So he's always one of the guys that steps in the box, and I know like I have to be like very specific with my pitches.
Perfect. So next time you face him, you're gonna strike him out a couple times. So let's talk about the bullpen you have behind you, because it's quite good. You have one of the best relievers in baseball, Griffin Jacks, leading the way alongside top closer Yonder on. Just how awesome is it for you to know that you have these guys behind you? Do you and your fellow starting pitchers ever talk about that? Be like, let's just appreciate them for a moment.
Oh my God. I mean, just in general, you gotta appreciate relievers. Like they are grinders. They pitch 2, 3 days in a row. They're available every single day. Sometimes they warm up and they don't pitch, but then they pitch the next day. So like to be mentally prepared and engage 162 games, it's incredibly hard to do. So I have the utmost respect for and admiration for relievers. Like I've never been a reliever, and like I'm always like, I don't know how I would do it in the bullpen because it's a complete different animal. But like as a starter, you always want to go deep. You always want to give the bullpen a break. But like with that 1-2 punch that we have, like if as a starter you go 7 innings, then you got Jax for the eighth and Duran for the ninth, then you put your team in the best situation to win a ball game.
I just had Matt Stram of the Philadelphia Phillies on my show, and I asked him the same type of thing. Like, how does he stay so ready in the bullpen, knowing that you can go out any moment and you need to be ready at all times? And he was telling me, he's like, yeah, it's probably one of the biggest struggles. It's very hard to do.
Oh,
I,
it's gotta be so hard.
it's got to be crazy. As a
Yeah.
starter, it's a little bit different. At least you know when you're going in, you
Right.
know how you show up. Obviously, you still pitch a lot. You pitch a lot more as a starter, as you have to go deeper into games and everything. But it's crazy. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean, it's completely different approach.
It's insane. So I wanna talk to you right now about how we mentioned that you were heading into this huge series. But if you look at some of your top hitters, a bunch of them are on the IL. The IL list right now for you guys is highlighted by Carlos Correa, Byron Buxton, Max Kepler, and others as well. Just how important is it for you guys to stay focused and just fight through these injuries?
I mean, yeah, you never want to see like anyone going to injuries list, especially when it's like your impact batters or impact players. But the way like the mentality in the clubhouse is like everyone in this clubhouse right now, it's up to us to make things happen. And that's like top to bottom in the organization. Like you come up and then you're part of the team. You're part of our culture of wanting to win, doing everything you possibly can to win. So everyone in this clubhouse knows that we have to pull our own way. We have to do our part. And the biggest thing, and I mentioned it earlier, is like you want guys to be themselves. Like you don't want a young guy to come up and it's September baseball. We're making a playoff push, and then they try to do more than usual. So it's about next guy up. Like whoever comes up, you got a role, you got a responsibility. You have to be in that mindset. Like whenever I get my opportunity, I'm going to do the best that I can. So, and like the veterans in this clubhouse do a great job at keeping the young guys nice and loose. So, when they get the opportunity, they are not putting too much pressure on themselves.
Who are those veterans that step up and make sure the young guys calm down on the team? Who are like the vocal leaders in the locker room and that type of stuff?
Yeah, you got Carlos Santana, who's been in the league for a while. You got Kyle Farmer, incredibly clubhouse guy, leader. I try to do my part with the pitchers, the young starters. in the bullpen, we got Caleb Thielbar. So like, I mean, it's like every position group, Christian Vasquez, like it's like every position group has veterans that have been in different philosophies, different organizations, and then we took the best of each, and then we just try to make a good winning environment.
Right. Okay, so last question, Pablo. This past week, we saw Cubs sensation Shota Imanaja throw 7 no-hit innings and 95 pitches. And then he was taken out of the game. And yes, I get it. He threw a baseball 95 times. It's not easy. The Cubs were just trying to protect him. But, like if that was you in that situation, and you threw 95 pitches, you have 2 innings left in a blowout game to get that no-no. Wouldn't you be so upset if they took you out? Wouldn't you just turn around and be like, come on?
Yeah, I mean, I never want to be taken out, and I'm sure not a single starter in the league would want to be taken out in that situation. But sometimes you try to work your case, sometimes you try to be persuasive, but a decision has already been made, and that decision a lot of times is thinking about the future. I don't know how many innings he has pitched in the past before coming to the MLB, and I know he's up there now with the amount of innings that he's thrown. So yeah, I mean, the Cubs know that he's a big part of their future, like leading their rotation, their pitching staff. But yeah, I mean, a part of me as a pitcher, I'm like, yeah, man, like I'm sure he fought to stay in, and like you wish you could see it, like complete games are rare anymore, especially like a no hitter and things like that. But yeah, I mean, organizations are thinking a lot about the future. They're trying to build dynasties. So you gotta like once you cool down, you take a step back, and then you're able to see it from that aspect.
100%. Thank you so much, Pablo, for coming on the show today and joining me. Did
You're
you have
welcome,
some
Jake.
fun?
Yeah, I did. No, absolutely. Thank you very much for having